alone and life is making you lonely, you can always go to Cheltenham. When you've got worries, all the noise and the hurry seems to help, I know. Cheltenham.
Yes, that's correct. We have Cheltenham on the horizon. We are here for our first preview night. With me, I have got Andrew Humphrey from Tocqueville Betfred. How are you, Andrew?
Very good, very good. Fresh on my first preview panel on Friday, which was a storming success. Looking forward to the week.
I have William Kijani from where you know involved with that would be easier, William. JP Festival, Racing Sport, you name it. How are you this evening, William?
Excited to get started the first day of the festival.
I have from Ireland, that, as people would say, the Irish angle, or himself, Graham Woods.
Mate, good evening. How you doing?
Good, Jess. You good, Graham?
Good stuff. Looking forward to it next Tuesday, Mick.
And
Looking forward to seeing Mellis, Mick.
Oh, don't
It's started already.
William.
About 90 seconds.
Also have William from Stopwatch Racing. How are you, William?
Good, ready and raining to go.
I'll just start right away. Basically, we'll just go through the card on Tuesday. I'll start with the Supreme Novices Hurdle. I'll start with you, Andrew Humphrey. What is your opinion on the Supreme Novice Hurdle?
Good fun, isn't it? Going to be good fun. Always a good way to start it off. Bally Andy, Moon Racer. Talking horses. Neon Wolves had a move today. Don't know why. I know you're in firmly both feet, elbows in the Mellon camp. I'm the two horses I've backed in this race. One's not going to run, and one is no. Oh, actually, I backed three. I forgot about the other one. It's the short price. It's now 3 times the price it was. But Finian's Oscar, not knowing who was going to go there, and then I've also backed Charlie Parks, who I backed the day before he fell. So if anybody needs a horse stopping, you just get in touch with me, and I'll tell you what not to, and I'll tell you what I'll back. I'm not a fan of Mellon. You know that, Mick, and I'll have about 16 portions of humble pie to eat. Confident about any of them, to be honest. Move of the Towns was very popular at the preview, even I did the other night. He's his best price sort of 9s with William Hills, but they're not non-running all bet. Between Mellon and Ballyandy, to me, Moon Racers obviously seems to be going for the Champion Hurdle now, which we'll get to later on, which is a fantastic decision. If you're the way that inclined that I am. But yeah, if you're looking at a bet, Mellon, Ballyandy, Move of the Times, stick them in together. It's going to be a great race. Move of the Times for me at the prices probably you can get 8-1 non-running no bet. Why not?
Excellent start there, Andrew. I'll go to Graham Woods next. How do you feel about this race, and who would your selection be?
I'd be inclined to take a strong view of the Betfair hurdle form between Ballyandy and Move with the Times. I'd be inclined to stick with Ballyandy because I think the horse wants a strongly run 2 mile. I wasn't too disappointed with his first 3 runs where he got bet. I thought he shaped like the better horse at Perth back in October, must be now. Jumping just cost him that day. The way the race was run the second day at Cheltenham behind Moon Racer didn't suit him. And then he was bet by Messier Days of Bow. That was over 2-4, I think. I think he just wants to strongly run 2 mile. He's good. He got the job done at Newbury. He was entitled to do that because he is a Grade 1 horse. He's running a handicap. I think you confirm the form Move with the Times. He's the horse they all have got to be. As long as Moon Racer doesn't run. I can't have bunk off early. Neon Wolves, that move this morning was just down to bookies correcting themselves because if he does run, he is a 7-2 shot or a 4-1 shot, which he is now. River Wild was impressive, but the form is not up to much the other day. Shally Park is interesting if he runs here, but he won't. And then I couldn't have any of the outsiders. Ballyandy for me, Mick.
Excellent. William Kijani, I will put it to you. Nobody's really mentioned the likes of High Bridge, who went undefeated this year. Some other prices. Is there anything that you like in here at all?
Yeah, Highbridge was very impressive at Newbury, and I was quite taken with him. I think he'll go well. Better horse, I think, than he was in the bump last year. And I don't really know what to make of that race. You will get decent runs from the likes of Ballyandy. The ground is all important for me. Apparently, they won't run the horse properly soft, and apparently, I'm just saying, the forecast will have a good to soft forecast. The one from the top of the market was really taking my eyes in Bunkoff early. I was wildly impressed with him and the way that he beat his opposition at Leopardstown. I felt that was really, really taking. Outspoken, was a decent flat horse, and he won nicely since. He had more than 5 lengths in hand if he wanted, but then the way that he tanked the front in the Deloitte and burned off everything apart from Bacardi's was really, really impressive, I felt. And had that been run on good ground or over 2 miles, I think that he would have won that day. The problem is if it's a tacky or sort of testing-ish surface, then I don't think I'd really want to be with him, and that would make the whole race really quite difficult for me. I think Gray makes a great point about Ballyandy wanting a strong run 2 miles, and that I can definitely agree with. But I'd say if you had a decent enough surface to go Bunkoff early, if not, consider Conte, maybe one of the bigger outsiders. He needed to be a big field and well run, but he was, I felt, quite taking when second into good handicaps on brain power.
Excellent. I'll go to William for Stopwatch Racing. You are a man with the times. I've seen your write-ups. They're very well detailed and well broken down. How do you break down the Supreme?
It's a tricky one from my end in that a lot of horses, very few of these horses have had a chance to prove it on the clock in a championship-style pace race. So, I mean, the obvious horse who's had the opportunity, or the 2 horses, are Ballyandy and Move with the Times, both of whom I've clocked around the 150 mark. I've backed both Mellon and Charlie Parks as well, second of which obviously isn't looking too hot at the moment. I don't think Mellon has too much to find with these, and I think the way he ran on debut, he shaped very well, jumped well, travelled well. I think strong championship pace will suit him as well. If you want one at a slightly more generous price that nobody's mentioned yet, I've also been quite taken with Beyond Conceit, who, just looking at Betfair at the moment, you can get about £11 on at 55s. I thought he did very well to win a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember where it was at, Kempton or Sandown or one of these right-handed tracks. He went no pace that day, and he was pretty keen through the race. He was outpaced from three out or so, but he battled on well, and he beat 2 decent horses. I clocked that around a 140 performance, but with a P at the end of it, because the way he shaped that day suggests to me that a strong run 2 miles championship pace, he'll be able to coast round quite quietly, probably mid-division, come late, and hopefully run into a place or so. So I think at 55s on Betfair, you can probably get 25 to 1, 33 to 1, non-runner, no bet as well. He'd be interesting.
Thanks very much. I will. Everybody knows what I'm going to say.
Here we go.
It isn't hidden. I've never hidden it. 11. I went to the 12th month actually when I backed Mellon. It's not after time and it's no nothing. I've had stick. I got stick up until December. That much off of some of the guys that I actually had to go gone back to Conte in case Maitland didn't run. He ran. He was impressive. He beat what he had to beat. He could have won further. He's too short. He's too short for people to be betting on now, in my opinion. But I'm looking at that field. David Desoy 6. Okay, Moonracer 92, Neon Wolf 72. They aren't even going to go. Then you've got Ballyandy 92. Move with the times 8 to 1, 10 to 1. There's definitely value in this field. The one that I liked as an outsider was Charmin Zen. For Dan Skelton. He won a race in France. Quite, and the form stands up quite well. And then he came out and he beat Appassionado off a level weight who was rated 134. He beat him 5 lengths in his first run over in Britain. That's at 2 miles at Doncaster. I don't know where he's going to go. He's hugely overpriced on that run. 30, you can get 33 to 1 on him if he's going to turn up here non-run or no bet.
You can get 300s on Betfair as well. £11 at 300 if you want to snap that up.
That's at that you're probably worth it. His price ranges on for various bookies for 20s to 50s. There's definitely value there if you get non-run or no bet, or you can have the £11 at 300s. I don't know what he's going to do. You would say he was a champion hurdle horse on his performance here. The champion, it's no champion hurdle, Supreme Novice hurdle. It's a very open race. I think they're doing the right thing with Moonracer, moving up to the champion. There's a lot of unexposed types here, and for me, rather take on what you know than what you don't know, to be honest. I'll move to the Arkle next. I don't think there'll be much discussion here. William from Stopwatch Racing, do you want to start us off in the Arkle?
Not very interesting. I've got Altior a stone clear on my speed figures. The only slight issue with him is, although he's quite an eye-catching jumper, he's actually not the most efficient of jumpers. He's actually quite slow. He lingers in the air a wee bit. I mean, the thing is, he's classy enough that it's not going to matter, provided he stands up. He'll win easily. If you're wanting maybe something in the without Altior market, you're probably looking for something that can travel easily at pace and something that will probably settle maybe in the rear division. Won't take Altior on for the lead or try and beat him, but will maybe pick up the pieces late on for second or third. Again, the 3 horses that probably appeal to me, you're kind of talking Forest Behan, Cloudy Dream, A Hairbreath. They've all got very similar profiles. They've all run to similar marks in the mid-140s. I've got Charbel clocking a better figure than either of those, but I think the issue with Charbel is he's probably quite likely to lead, or at least, he'll be challenging for the win. And the issue there is, does he do himself a mischief, therefore, trying to take Altior on and maybe weaken out of the places, end up 4th or 5th. So maybe at the prices, Forest Behan or Cloudy Dream, even A Hairbreath, all these kind of horses, they're all trading around a similar kind of price. One of those each way, you probably won't go too far wrong.
Excellent. William Kijani, how do you see this race unfolding? If Altior cannot be beaten, what follows him home?
Altior probably is going to be in the van. I think even slow and ponderous jumping, as long as he's safe, and prevent him from winning. I think maybe if he'd had a chance to have a bit more racing, he might have improved his jumping as well, possibly. I hate to be boring, but Charbel would be the one to follow him home. He hasn't been seen since finishing second to Altior in April, but he's made him work harder than any other horse has. Bar the Supreme last year, and I think that the form from win over Top Notch, 7-2 for the JLT. A winner of the November trial here has worked out really well. Cloudy Dream is one who you might look to hit the frame at a big price. So too possibly would be one of Henry de Bromhead's charges. It won't be Identity Thief, sadly. Let's not talk about him. But at least he'd Lond, Raw Caviar, something like that.
Thanks very much. Graham Woods, is there anything for you?
For an each way bet, I'd be very interested in Flying Angel if he turns up here. He won the Kingmaker at Warwick last time out on heavy ground. He ran very well at the festival last year. He was second to Ibis Theroux in the Martin Pipe. So you know he acts around the track. That piece of form, like outside Altior, obviously, that's right up there with anything else any the rest have done in the field this season. And I think 25 to 1 with William Hill. He's entered in JLT as well, but if he comes here, I think 25 to 1 each way. You'll have worse each way bets, I think.
Excellent. Andrew Humphrey, how are the Total Pool Betfred guys going to look at this race?
Well, same as everybody else. Altior versus the fences, the rest of the field against each other, I would imagine. Pretty solid, I would say. If any, the only thing that can get him beat is probably his fences. But the one, I was on a panel with Brian Ellison on Friday, and he said that Aidan Coleman will be right. We know he's likely to ride Forest Behan. They've got him booked, which is quite a big positive. I think he's, Aidan's a very, very good rider. But if I was going outside Altior, which obviously you have to, you'd have to go with Royal Caveat. I think he would have Leopardstown last time if he hadn't tipped up. Some plan obviously had it given to him. Cloudy Dream, I'm not overly fond of. Top Notch, obviously he's a good horse as well, but he's got another entry, hasn't he? Is he going somewhere else, I think?
Yeah, the JLT for Top Notch, I think.
Yeah, so he'll be going there. So really kind of looking at Caviar, Some Plan, Cloudy Dream, Forest Behan. I'd take Willie's Royal Caviar as a nice each way bet, 14 to 1, why not?
Excellent. One I'm going to look at is Starkitect. Do you think he'll run here?
No, I think
Daniel,
no chance. He'll go for the handicap. The what's it called?
Grand Annual.
Grand Annual, yeah.
And that'll put that to bed then. I don't really have any other opinion apart from Altior a win. When you're looking at things to follow home, Royal Caviar's going to run. Apart from that, there isn't it.
Did they say Herbreth's going here?
Yeah, I think he's likely to line up, I think.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure they said Richard Johnson's going to school him, I think they said, didn't they? I think that was on ATR Racing UK this week, so that's a positive for him if you're looking for one, I guess. Yeah,
he's got a lot to find on Forest Behan and on that last run at Doncaster in January. The one that would stick out for Royal Caviar if he can jump around, but a 9-year-old novice. It's just crazy. We've also got Some Plan who's a 9-year-old novice as well. 10-year-old Warsinger. Altior's just going to jump round, isn't he? Jump round and win. I'd definitely look at something on the day in the without market for sure, but this far out, looking at it, it's hard to know what's going to go there. Charball's 10, 12 to 1 as an each way bet. You're probably better off taking that than I think he's maybe you'll probably get 2 to 1 on the day without Altior, so it's hard to weigh up. You're probably waiting to better on the day to bet in this race.
Here's a question for everybody: at what price do you all start to pile into Altior? If he starts to drift on the day, when does it become a backable price?
It's probably a backable price at the moment, to be honest. He's 1 to 4, but like I couldn't back him. I'm not into backing 1 to 4 shots. If you're the racing blogger, You would have the.
I love a favourite. I'll back a short price favourite, but
he's been on him for ages.
Price. I think if somebody's going to put him in a multiple with in the champion, Mellon, Altior, and Yanworth all to win. They'll go even money or something silly like that, or 2-1, something like that. I reckon that's probably the offer you're probably going to get on the day for him. Someone like Betfair or Paddy Power or someone like that will do that.
He will be involved in first day multiples for sure. You can bet on that. 1-4. He'll probably. You're talking 1-3. If he hits 1-3, there'll be big punters piling into him at 1-3. It'll not be 1-3 for long, I would imagine. What price would it take you to go in, William?
Well, just looking at Betfair, and obviously this is not non-runner, no bet. He's 1.43 at the moment, and certainly if he was that price on the day, I'd have no problem having the proverbial on him to win. But I mean, the reality is that if he turns up safe and sound, as you say, he's more likely to go off probably 1-4 on the exchanges. At which point there's no real interest there, is there?
No, I think this is just sit back, watch and enjoy for myself anyway. I'll not be getting involved at odds on at the festival, but some people will, and I can see the attraction to do it if you're that type of punter. I will move on to the Ultima handicap chase. I'll start with Andrew first this time. I know you hate handicaps, that's why I came to you first. You'll have this all worked out.
Absolutely. I'll tell you the winner of this right now.
Oh, excellent.
Well, I'll put it out there now. It's got 2 entries. Could run in this, could run in the Kim Muir. Single farm payment. If he turns up in this race, we'll win this race.
That is.
This is the one. This is the one where I love this bet. You get 10-1, non-runner, no bet. I don't know what amateur they book for the Kim Muir, but I'm sort of swaying to hopefully that they'll come to this race. But I think they give him 1-4-2. Tom George is, he's not one to run when they don't need to run. He's got Cheltenham form. I think he's got a really, really good chance in this. I spoke to Paul Ferguson, who does the jumpers to follow as well. He's very keen on this horse as well. I think he's got him at a bigger price, obviously, than he is now. But he says, he sort of echoes the thoughts of this. And yeah, I quite like the single farm payment for this race, definitely, yeah.
The only question with single farm payment is he going to get in the races down at number 58? These races have been cutting up as they used to. That would be my only concern about him getting in here. But I can see the angle for sure. Graham Woods, have you got anything in this race?
I certainly like one. I'd like Champers and Knife if he did turn up here. You probably need to ride him handily, but I'd say it's the 4 miler for him. But the one I like is a horse who has won this before, Holywell. He's been in no sort of form, but Mick, as you know, John Joe Neals couldn't win with anything at Christmas. Now he didn't run that well behind Eagle Boy at Doncaster last time, but he didn't run well last year behind Eagle Boy, and he ran okay. I just think I still think there's a big race in him. I know he's a 10-year-old, but I still think there's another big race in him, and this is his only target at the festival. So 14-1, he's a class act, and if it's better ground, the better his chances. I still think there's a big one in him.
Excellent summary there. I will go to William Kajani. If you could break that down this race for us, who do you like at the weights so far?
A couple have already been touched on. Single farm payment, if he goes here, would take the beating. But the mark for the young master, who was, I think he was 4th last year, but and might have been well beaten at that, is really interesting. He's 20-1 right now. He'd be guaranteed a run. This season's been a bit of a blowout for him, but it was on his seasonal reappearance that he hunted round until he fell at the last or two out in the breach chase, and he was never really in with a chance in Cleve Hurdle. I'd imagine he'd be much more revved up for this, given that the National is coming, and I think he's interesting at 20. Of those at the top of my nephew is potentially interesting, and these are two chancy selections. I know they're really chancing. I don't like too much, but he's had one run this year down to 148. It's nothing like his Grand National mark when he was absolutely swinging off 146. He's only £2 higher, and I think he might get in as well. So those will be the two.
Excellent. William from Stopwatch Racing, how do you see this race? Some pretty lenient marks through the field with course and distance for him, especially a festival for him. Is there anything that stood out for yourself?
I'm going to be fairly boring and actually agree with all the guys here. I've got two noted down. I've only backed one of them. The two I've got down are Single Farm Payment and Champers on Ice. Single Farm, both of whom I've rated 150 on my speed figures, and each horse is running off 142 and 143 respectively, which would suggest to me that, they've got they're at least half a stone well in. I'd backed Single Farm Payment on its last day, where it was brought down by a horse called More Bucks, who Nick Schofield was riding. And I mean, to be honest, I'd have given Nick Schofield 10 days for that, because it was a pretty dangerous piece of riding. He was going to absolutely hack up that day. That was over 2 miles 4, I think. But I mean, the key with Single Farm Payment is how easily he's able to travel through a race. And we know no matter what the distance at Cheltenham, how hard they go early on, he's going to be able to sit at the back and just be brought very steadily through the race. And I think he's got a favourite's chance. Champers on Ice, slightly more tricky. He's also a distinct possibility for the 4-miler. But in terms of his overall profile, he's almost identical to Untempt Portu in that he's been, let's just say, not as openly campaigned as he could have been. And for example, last time he was running over a distance that was patently too short for him. The only issues with him are his jumping and whether he can go the early gallop. But I mean, he's definitely well handicapped on the basis of his second behind American. I rated American's performance. I think it was at Warwick, a 160 performance, and Champers on Ice 150. So I mean, I think both of these horses, if they turn up and they run their races, will be fighting it out coming down to the last two.
Excellent summary there. I've actually marked 3 out for this race. One's a young master. Basically, he was third in the race of 149 last year. He's only a pound higher. Sam Whaley-Cohen will take the ride, probably take the £3 off his back.
Is the dentist going to ride him? Yeah.
He probably will. I think he is his rider. Now, I actually do think that the father still owns the young master. I'm not too sure, because on some of the sites it's got another partnership, but in some of them it's still got Robert Whaley-Cohen. So if he's still the owner, Sam will ride. I've got Hollowell. He's had 4 festival runs where he's won twice, been 4th in a Gold Cup and 2nd in this last year. You just can't look away from that for him. He's off £5 lower than he ran last year. He's off with 148, which is pretty lenient for somebody with course form like that. And the last one's Ibis Duru for Paul Nicholls. He's off with 146, which is rather lenient considering one a Martin Pipe off with 139 last season. He's vastly improving. The longer trips should help him, and he's definitely one to watch at 25 to 1. They would be my 3 to look out for in this race. Completely. I'll now move on to the Champion Hurdle. This will be fun. Graham Woods, champion hurdle, take it away.
Yeah, it's no brainer. Like for me, I said before last year's Neptune, this horse would win a champion hurdle. And I know he got better in it, but Yanmore for me has done nothing wrong this season, and I think he's an absolute certainty here. It's not ideal not having Barry Geraghty, but that's the nature of jumps racing. Mark Walsh is a top class pilot. Only horse in the field never to be bet over. I think he's 5 from 5 over 2 mile over hurdles. Don't think any other horse the race is unbeaten over that trip. He's run faster times, I think, than Faheen, Annie Power, who won their champion hurdles, and he's ran a faster time in the Christmas hurdle at Christmas than Faheen's 2 Christmas hurdles. Goes on any ground, stays well, shows he has the pace already. Only concern is the jumping, but he never looks like falling. Essentially, he's probably a 2.5 to 3 mile chaser in the making. So what he's doing over hurdles is a testament to his ability. I can't wait to see him over a fence, but I can't see him going over fences if he wins the champion hurdle, which I think he will. His biggest danger is Bouvert there. I think it's between those two. He'll probably be the last off the bridle, Bouvert there. And I just think Yanmore will outstay him and win going away. I don't give Limini much of a chance, really. Petit Mouchoir, I don't think he'll get up the hill. And the rest, not good enough. So Yanmore all the way.
Excellent. I can firmly establish that you are a Yanmore fan. William, for stopwatch racing, I'll go to you next. How have you broke this champion hurdle down? And who would be your master rating of this race?
I'm quite disappointed by a lot of people on social media and various TV shows saying what a poor champion hurdle this is. To me, this is the most exciting champion hurdle we've had in several years because of the sheer competitiveness of it.
I agree.
I agree.
It's a very good champion hurdle. I don't care what anyone says.
It's not a quality race, but it'll be a competitive race.
Yeah,
I would agree with that too.
I've got 10 horses within 10 pounds of each other. That's the kind of close-knit form you're talking about here. The two I'm interested in Yanworth's the obvious one. I've got him top of my speed figures. I've rated him 161, 162 this season, which is better than anything else. We're guaranteed to get a strong pace here. Petit Mouchoir is a confirmed front runner, and Nigel Twiston-Davis has said that the new one will be forcing the pace as well. So you're looking for a horse who can travel easily at pace. And actually, Yanworth isn't a slow horse at all. In terms of how he travels, he's actually a very smooth traveller through a race. The two issues he has, one's the jumping, which isn't great. But the other issue he has in his races earlier this season has been the fact that he's hit a flat spot, usually about 2 or 3 furlongs out, just when races are starting to quicken. I don't see that being a problem at Cheltenham, simply because they're going to go so hard early on here. It's not going to be about who can quicken 3 furlongs out. It's going to be about who can battle and who's going to stay the trip the best. And I can't see anything in this field staying and coming home better than Yanworth. And I think if he's within 2 or 3 lengths turning for home, I think he'll win, and I think he'll win quite comfortably. I am actually a Limini fan as well. I thought she put in a serious performance on her reappearance a couple of weeks ago. The telling thing there as well was that the Mullins team don't usually leave the money behind, and she was friendless in the market all day. She drifted out, I think, to a starting price of 7-2, 4-1. I think it was 4.8 on Betfair. To step up to 2 miles 4 for the first time on her seasonal reappearance, given how keen she was last season, and also to beat a horse in Apple's Jade, who's no superstar, but is a rock-solid performer who is very well suited by 2 miles 4, I thought was a very, very good performance. I think she'll be even better over 2 miles. And I can just see Ruby getting a nice, easy trip round the inside and producing her to the last. The only issue is I can see her being out-battled up that hill. horses like Yanworth. But I mean, put it this way, I've rated her 154 on that seasonal reappearance, and she gets £7. That would bring her right to the top of my ratings. So I think she'll go very close. I think she'll place. I just think she'll be out battled coming up the hill. But a great race, really interesting race, and the fact we're 92 the field at the moment, certainly on Betfair. 72 the field rather. Is indicative of what's a very competitive contest.
I could listen to that all day. Can you just do the whole races and we can just listen to you there, Will? I could listen to this man all day.
Well, we can't listen to him all day, so I want you to go, Andrew Humphrey. Who do you like in this race?
Well, like a lot of them have said, it's not a quality race, but it's a competitive race. I think obviously it's probably going to be between Yanworth and Bouvier, but luckily I'm on. Well, I took a bit of a big price against Bouvier, which I thought was a bit smart at the time, and it is looking still smart. But then I think Yanworth will absolutely blow them out of the water. I can't believe that they're co-favourites, to be honest. I really can't. I think everything that Yanworth's done is just been, he's not flashy, he's not anything but that, but he gets the job done and he wins. I mean, he just keeps on winning, doesn't he? He's brilliant. Limini, I think, has got a bit, got a bit to do. Petit Mouchoir has got no chance as far as I'm concerned. The new one, obviously, we know Nigel is backwards, falling over backwards in the pub about this one. He'll tell you to back it if you've got any money left in your pocket. Brain power, I just can't get on side with brain power either. It's Yanworth for me, but I'm intrigued to what Mick's got to say about Moonracer, because I think this is I just don't like this decision at all. Obviously, it's the owner's decision to make, and granted, they probably know what they're going against in this race, like you said. But for me, it's just you cannot come into a champion hurdle after such a disrupted long layoff. For me, I think to blow, you can get your Annie Powers and your Forheens coming back after a decent break, but Moonracer is just, I'm absolutely baffled by this. I'm looking forward to a mixed case, but I think it is going to be between Yanworth and Bouvier. But if it comes down to it, I think Yanworth's probably going to win, and Bouvier will probably follow him home second and leave me crying at 16-1.
William Kajani, anything that you like in the race? Footpad and Petit Mouchoir have not had a mention yet. Is there any hope for them in this field, and who do you like?
There's definitely hope for Petit Mouchoir, who's been really good all season, bar his defeat to Rashan in WKD Hurdle. He might well have won the fight in fifth had he not come down, but he's evidently improved an awful lot, because he was deadly, absolutely deadly at Christmas, and he was, as far as I'm concerned, quite deadly again when he landed as for the sectionals, but they were strongly run races that he did all the running in. And he never really looked like being beaten in either of them too. I think should be noted as a fairly significant achievement, in all honesty. I think he can get very close. He'd probably just be second to Yanworth in my estimation. We were there, right up there. Footpad, it's all about the pace. He needs the horses to go faster and faster and faster. He'll be right there. I don't think I'd back Moonracer so to win the Supreme, so come back into win this. And bar all those, I think the new one and my 10 to yours are held on the Christmas Hurdle form, and I don't think everything's been suited to Yanworth. I don't think he's had anything go his way all year. In terms of fitness, in terms of course, in terms of pace of the race. So I'd love to see Mark Walsh really get him out there and be quite aggressive too. But I think Yanworth possibly be the one to beat. Petit Mouchoir I'd expect to be there. I'd surely hope to be there. I think he's a different horse from last year. And Bouvier would be about the one I think possibly hasn't been mentioned enough, Brain Power. That would be just my throwaway in there.
Okay, well, this is where people are going to think that I've lost the plot. I don't think Moonracer's got a chance of winning. And I don't think he's got a chance of winning a Supreme either, but at least he knows what he's taking on here. If they think he's good enough to win, then let them run. Everybody, Ken, what I will say, everybody applauded Thistlecrack's owners for taking him out of novice company and winning a King George and everything like that. But Moonracer's connections are idiots for doing this. I don't know how that weighs up. If they think he's good enough, then let him run. I don't think he'll win. I'm going to throw a few curveballs in here. I don't think Lamini's got a chance at all. Vroom Vroom Mag is a much better mare than her. She would beat Vroom Vroom Mag would beat her every day and twice on a Sunday, in my opinion. My tent or yours? I was listening to a preview night. I had Jeremiah McGrath on it, and he was quite upbeat about my tent or yours, saying he was working really well. He says he was working really well, and it was a huge price. It was 40s. He's now down to about 20s. And
do you think he'll be sacrificed to make the running again? That'd be the worry.
Was Jerry McGrath talking about training now or training back in 2015?
2015, he was second. He was second last year. There's no Faheen, there's no any power this time. That was his way in.
Stop it. Jeez.
And one that nobody's talked about is Wicklow Brave. He's not run over hurdles for 472 days, but he won an Irish St. Ledger on the flat.
Perfect.
He's roughly 111 on the flat, which would make him more than good enough to win this. He's got Festival for him. He was 60 for tour in the Supreme Novice, but he then won he did win with a handicap at Cheltenham by about 8 lengths. He beat the county hurdle with a 138. So he's got Festival for him that's holding up not too bad. He had Semper Medici who ran in this race last year in behind. It wasn't a bad race. Hawkeye, who's then came out and won other races at the festival. I would definitely, if he turns up here, I would definitely have an each way bet on him. He's got form with Faheen, and I would say Nichols Canyon. He looks probably gone at the game, I think.
Don't think he's going to go. They weren't positive about him going, I don't think.
No, I think he's completely gone. They're ones that I'd be looking at backing. There is, for me, the front of the market, Yamworth's beat. Yamworth's not really been impressive. Petit Mouchard's been impressive, but is he really that good? William Monsters next year, like Cheltenham. Bouverdaire beat. What?
Here we go.
Bouverdaire beat nobody really. Beat Raven Black on the bridle in mud. And if people aren't impressed with Yamworth, then how can they be impressed with Bouverdaire? Yamworth beat it 30 lengths. Bouverdaire beat it a length on the bridle. It doesn't make sense to me.
I don't understand why York Hill's not running here, to be honest. This is race tailor-made from fast run 2 miler. I just don't understand why he's not running this race, considering he bet the favourite last year. It's strange.
Graham Wiley wants him to be a Gold Cup winner. They think he's good enough to win a Gold Cup. He'll no change. Graham Wiley.
I think the issue is, I think had Graham Wiley and Willie Mullins known 6 months ago that there'd be no Faheen and no Annie Power, they would have, almost certainly gone down the champion hurdle route with York Hill. I think the issue is that Willie Mullins is quite old-fashioned, and that once he decides to send a horse chasing, that's pretty much it. So, up until 6 weeks ago or so, there was still every chance that Annie Power and or Faheen were going to turn up on the day. And I think kind of end of January, early February is far too late for somebody like Mullins to change his mind and redirect York Hill. But I would agree. I think if he lined up, he'd be a 7-4 chance.
I don't even know whether he'd stay 3 mile either. York Hill, the way he races, like.
Oh,
lunatic. Absolute lunatic.
He's an absolute monster as well, though.
Oh, he's a great animal. But the champion hurdle's completely open. I would be looking at the outsiders than at the front of the market. This is where it's going to throw up a Punjabi kind of result rather than a Hurricane Fly, to be honest. But
Moonracer, I have a lot of respect for Moonracer. He did beat Yanworth in the bumper that year. People forget that, like, and I'd say that's in their thinking as well. The owners thinking.
Well, he's got caution. Well, that's the thing that, like, he knows, they know what they're taking on. They've got Mellon, who's ran once over hurdles. They didn't know what he is. It could be anything. They've got Bunko.
Listen, the Mellon's team have a proper idea how good Mellon is. Supposedly, he's been running in about 6 or 7 schooling hurdles.
I know exactly how good they think he is. The exact thing that I was told last March was that he would win 2 champion hurdles with him. Yeah. That was the exact thing that they say, that Mellon, they would win 2 champion hurdles with Mellon. I've already backed him for next year's champion hurdle, which sounds absolutely crazy, but I have. It's madness, but
you're a mad Mick.
If it goes on hacks up in a week supreme, then what price is it? He's going to be 8.
What price you get, man?
33s. So
that's not a bad price, to be fair.
It's the same price I'm sitting on for the Supreme, so it's no bad. But
just out of interest, how far down the spreadsheet does Stopwatch Will have your 2 selections, mate? Out of interest,
I probably only have Wicklow Brave on my Wicklow Brave, and I can't remember who else. My 10 or yours. They would be my 2 I'd be looking at.
So the Wicklow Brave I don't even have on the spreadsheet. That's how far down he is. My 10 to so in terms of the master ratings I allocate, I base it on form this season rather than anything in the past. So my 10 to years of old would be taught. I had him in his prime clocking a 165 plus. But in terms of what he's done this year, I've got him down at 145, which is over a stone behind Yanworth. And it's £10 below horses like the new one, Petit Mouchoir, Limine as well.
Mick, would you fancy Vroom Mag in this?
I would if she turned up here. I heard the same about Annie Power last year. I got told on this exact podcast she had no chance, absolutely no chance, and she hacked up. Honestly, you need to look outside the box at champion hurdle. There's no one great bit of form there, and for me, if Wicklow Brave turns up there off the back of that Irish St Ledger and a poor run in the Melbourne Cup, that it'll not be far away in his best hurdles for him. It definitely wouldn't be if he's the same horse. I'll leave that there. I'll move on to the OLBG Mares Hurdle. Sam Boswell, if he's listening, he'll be jumping up and down. Still thinking he's getting Annie Power, but unfortunately he's probably going to get Vroom Mag, which is a good enough replacement. Andrew Humphrey, how do you see this race going?
Yeah, pretty simple really. Vroom Mag should win. Make it 2 on the spin. Apples J is just, I don't know what's gone on there. It's absolute crazy scenes. We obviously Betfred have cut Limine today. I've not been in the office today, so I don't know the reason for that. Jers Girl, not for me. Let's Dance, because going to go to the novice race, isn't she? Pretty much that's going to happen. Lifeboat Mona for Paul Nichols, who she's got the form in the book, but if Vroom Mag doesn't win this, considering they were going to run there was talking about champion earlier, whether she should absolutely hack up in this and make it 2 on the spin for 11 to 8. I think she's a great bet, to be honest, actually, at that price as well.
Excellent, thank you, Graham Woods. How do you see this race?
It's hard to look past Vroom Mag, Mick, but David Pipe has a horse entered in this that hasn't ran from yet. He bought for €210,000. Now it has like 5 entries. It's called Maggie the Moor. Very interesting. She has 5 entries at Cheltenham. She entered in this. I probably would keep an eye on it. I don't know the level of French form, but when Pipe multiple enters one for Cheltenham, it's usually a sign he really fancies it. So she could be interested. But Vroom Mag, Mick, you're the number 1 fan.
I'll go to Stopwatch, William Stopwatch. I keep calling you William Stopwatch because you've got two Williams here. It sounds so rude and terrible. William for Stopwatch Racing.
I think I called him Stopwatch Will before.
It's terrible. We've got William Kajari and
The guys on JP Festival called me Mr. Stopwatch, so I guess that's
like Mr. Stopwatch. Can I have your opinion, please?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's going to Vroom Vroom Mag and Apples Jade. Assuming they turn up, we're both going to finish 1 and 2. It's about working out what order. Based on when they met earlier in the season, you'd fancy Vroom Vroom Mag to turn the form around with Apples Jade. Apples Jade got the run of the race that day, and she was given a very good ride by Brian Cooper, who schooled Ruby a little bit in pace.
Terrible ride from Ruby.
Awful and terrible. I mean, and the sectionals backed that up. It was, yeah. And then bear in mind, that was Vroom Vroom Mag's first run of the season. She'd been entitled to come on from that. She was allegedly pretty sick after she won at Doncaster last time. So I think you can draw a line under that. If you want one for a trifecta, I think Colin's sister of, I think it's Fergal O'Brien's, is about half a stone better than anything else in Britain in terms of the clock performances she's put up. She put up a very good performance last time out, where she won very easily. I think the trip's ideal for her. She's got about £7 or £8 to find with Vroom Vroom Mag and Apples Jade, but I think she's better than anything we've got over here. And I think a Vroom Vroom Mag first, Apples Jade second, Colin's sister third, trifecta wouldn't be the worst bet in the world.
Just a quick one. Out of interest, would Woodsy's outsider get some weight as well? Is she only a 4-year-old, I think?
David Pipes.
Yeah.
David Pipes gets weight £7 for being a 4-year-old, but she's entered up and she's got 5 entries. She's in the Mares, the Coral Cup, the Fred Winter, the JCB Triumph Hurdle, and the Martin Pipe. So I can't really see her taking on the Mares. She'll take one of the 4 lesser options, you would imagine.
It's actually £9 they get. It would be 10.10 she'd carry.
Nice.
It is £9. I can't even count.
It's a lot of weight, yeah. It's a lot of weight.
I think Let's Dance she's a 4-year-old, isn't she? No, or is she 5?
She's 5. She's only a novice. She is now a 4-year-old, but for me, it's interesting. William Kajani, do you have any opinion other than Vroom Vroom Mag's going to win?
Yeah, I do. I would. With Colin's Fergal's, lovely place, by the way. Follow at Team FOB on Twitter. They want to have a lot of cut in the ground if she's going to go. That's what I'm told. They do consider Neptune as well.
Just take a coat with you that's the right size. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Oh, for God's sake. Anyway.
Who did you steal that from?
I got 6 a.m. to get there. Well, to be fair, I was on the train for about 6. So, yeah, all that aside, I think that Vroom Vroom is like eating. I think that Lifeboat Mona is an interesting each way bet just because of the fact that Let's Dance Lamini might not run. And then you've got places to aim at and play with, and that's sort of interesting. And she handles good ground or at least good to soft ground as well as she does ground with cutting it. And I think she's like to run a race as well.
Excellent. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Lamini turns up, Lamini runs, Vroom Vroom Mag runs. Vroom Vroom Mag turns up, Vroom Vroom Mag runs, Vroom Vroom runs. It is as simple as that.
That'd be interesting if Lamini turned up as well. That'd be great crowd, wouldn't it?
Very interesting.
Believe it or no, that I'm actually sitting on a Lamini slip. And I was going to trade it because Vroom Vroom Mag's going to go here and Vroom Vroom Mag's going to scamper. And I haven't. I've just left it. And I came Vroom Vroom Mag's going to be her, and it's sick. if she turns up here, Vroom Vroom Mad beats her. I was hoping Vroom Vroom Mad would go elsewhere, leave Lamine in here, she'll hack up. No, how wrong was Annie Power Faheen go, and then I'm sitting with Lamine against Vroom Vroom Mag, and I can't believe it. But
the amount of betting slips you must have, Mick, you could paint the whole of Cheltenham Town Centre with the amount of flipping betting slips you seem to
I've got them on my wall. I use them as wallpaper when they're beat. I've actually got that many. I've just got coral wallpaper. It's ridiculous. Like starting in March, like the festival's not even begun, and I've had my first bet next year. It's ridiculous. I can't help myself, but I'll quickly move on to the JT McNamara.
Melon goes the egg.
Oh, didn't start on that.
He goes the egg, Vic.
I've had enough of Melon. I'm sick of it. JT McNamara.
You're sick of it. We've got to put up with you talking about it.
Challenge
You're
Cup.
talking about you being sick of it.
Right, come on, lads, behave yourself now. We've got important things to talk about here. Before Mayor, Pat Mustard he's done his bollocks again. Bellsill's turning up here, isn't he? But we'll go for William Kijani. Who do you like in this race? Earth to William Kijani.
Interesting.
Sorry. I was getting there. Sorry.
Turn the one show off.
Yes. Oh my God, I have got the one show. How dare you? That's an actual insult. I need to weigh memories of the one show with actual racing. It's a really boring view. I do think Junior Bottle will take the beating, but you can spread two view out. The bear is really liked at the yard of Nicky Henderson's. They like him a lot, and he beat Single Farm Payment quite convincingly at Ascot in November. And he went and he beat Aureliac, giving Aureliac nearly a stone, actually. Sorry for the big announce. I've just read those weights again. He does nothing but stay all day, regards to the ground. He jumps pretty cleanly. Nicky Henderson has lots of love contacts in terms of jockeys to ride, and I think that he's a solid use for his shot. We're not fancy of Edwards jumping at times. I would just thought that I think he'll go well. But I think Beware the Bear and Champers on Ice might just be two very obvious each way bets. And Champers on Ice, because you'd think he'd stay 4 miles, wouldn't you?
Definitely.
And nobody's going to take his last run seriously. American prospect. It's good that he's had a run over shorter, or he's had 2 runs over shorter to sharpen him up, because he learned nothing at Lingford. He was a bit useless in Hampton. But after that, those 2, he should be much better prepared. The form of the Albert Bark doesn't look so bad. Neither does the form of his win in New Year last year. Even the form of his second or his third to Yanworth isn't all that bad either. So I think he can go very well. And I think those 2 are just fairly obviously better. So be short on the day, probably.
Excellent, thanks very much. Graham Woods, do you have an opinion in this race?
Yeah, as I said earlier, if Champers on Ice turns up here, he has to be the bet. He has experience as well in big fields around Cheltenham as well, which this is likely to be. You'd just be hoping the Godfather rides, and if he does, I think he's an outstanding bet. I think he's made for this race.
You say Jamie Codd then?
Jamie Codd, yeah.
Tiger Roll.
They're not sure what he's going to do. He did pick Genie in a bottle to start with, but Gordon Elliott is mentioned for Tiger Roll, so I don't know what they're going to do. A league switch, maybe.
Tiger Roll again today, yeah.
Andrew, who do you like in this race?
I don't like many. Obviously, Champers on Ice. Well, that's going to be the ride they give. That was very interesting. Let's put it that way. Last time, American probably at the prices would be my pick. He's gonna go well. Obviously the distance is no problem to him whatsoever. I'm not overly confident with Ed Wolf's jumping. I don't think he's much of interest of anything at all. Arbor DeVee is one at a decent price as well for the Mullins Ritchie team. I think the race last time, the Acapella Bourgeois race, was a bit of a farce. It was an absolute car crash, really. A lot of people quite like Martello Tower for the race, but I backed him last year, and he was he's not overly, doesn't inspire a lot of confidence in you if you want to have a bet. But I think American will probably be my pick. You can get him at 16-1, and then if you want to look at a bigger price, obviously Arbor DeVee's at 25s, and Tiger Hall's going to be, if Jamie Codd is confirmed for that, you're probably going to look at a halving in price, if not more. But I'll stick with American and go for a win for the Beanpole, Harry Fry.
I think he's going for the RSA, that horse.
No.
Yeah, American.
Aye, RSA, I think.
Oh well, go with Arbor DeVee then.
One Harold to another Harold, they told me that it was definitely going to go for the RSA if the ground was good. William from Stopwatch Racing, who do you like in here? I wouldn't like to have batteries for the stopwatch for going 4 miles. Is there anything you really like here?
Andrew said that he didn't like many of them. I don't like fucking any of them.
I know.
I mean, in terms of, as you say, it's one of these races where the clock doesn't really matter. I noticed
follow the jockeys.
Well, exactly. That's what I was going to say. I noticed earlier today that the excellent Simon Rowland put up a post where he suggested Ed Wolf. So I wouldn't put you off that. But other than that, you've got to back whoever: Jamie Codd, Derek O'Connor, Katie Walsh, Sam Whaley Cohen turn up on, and you won't go far wrong. I mean, I can't think when was the last year that one of those four, no Nina Carberry this year, but I can't remember the last year that one of those four didn't win it.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you there. I will be backing Ed Wolf. That Master Trainer Joseph O'Brien. I've just got to look at the way he won the last day. Won very easily. His jumping was in place. Derek O'Connor will take the ride. You've got to really be happy with that. I read somewhere that he was a highest rated horse that would ever go for the 4 miler. He's about £4 higher than anything else on, I think that's Racing Post rating, that's ever went for the race. So you're tough to really fancy him if you do respect their ratings.
Somebody's got the Final Furlong podcast on in the background. I can hear it.
Who's cheating?
Betraying. Traitor.
Graham Woods. Right.
Out of interest, do you think Patrick will ride Arbor DeVee?
I don't think he's even going to go here, is he? They were talking, like Patrick always says that they never had anything for this race. If Bell's Hill goes, he'll ride Bell's Hill.
Hayment.
He'll ride one of the two. Definite. Hayment or Bell's Hill.
Hayment, yeah. He's riding Hayment or Martello Tower. He wants to ride Martello Tower.
Basically, what you've done is in the last 2.5 minutes, you've just kiboshed any bet I was going to have in this 4 miler. American won't run. Arbor DeVee won't have Patrick Mullins. I might just go to the toilet while this one's on.
Well,
no, I think he wants to ride Martello Tower, but I don't know what Willie Mullins is going to ride. Hayman probably, but I don't know what's going to happen there.
It's to start, they never had any, and then Hayman's going to go here, and Bell's Hill's probably going to go here after finishing second.
Bell's Hill runs here.
They're talking about Bell's Hill going here, aye. It's crazy. It's crazy. If he makes the festival, it is a very big option for him. I'm sure Paddy Power has him in at 10.
He's still not got a headache from Sunday, yeah?
I'll quickly move on to the very final race, the Tuesday, the Close Brothers Novices Handicap Chase. William, for Stopwatch Racing, who do you like here?
Again, not too much in here that I've looked into in any depth. One I would point out would be Roman de Sinan. I think it's Paul Nichols's horse on a fair mark. Should be ideally suited by the conditions, and I think will run a fair race. Currently 10 on Betfair. Presumably you can get something like 8-1 non-runner no bet. I think that's fair each way.
Excellent. William Kijani, is there anybody you like here? After William Kijani.
Yeah, sorry, I have to unmute. So this isn't fucking funny. Shut the fuck up. Right,
Are you listening to that other podcast?
We're not listening to the other podcast.
I'm kidding on. Hurry up.
Hey, the amount of fucking editing I've got to do for all this now. Here it is, right? Right, first of all, please, we're not a family podcast. It's called Explicit Racing License. We can say what we want.
Get the hell on with it, mate. Come on.
Anyway, this is a really outlandish claim, and you'll probably try to punch me through the screen for this. But and I'm just saying, okay, if Poker School gets in, he wins by about 30 counties, but he's 50. So that looks ask. Hammersley Lakes form with top notch in the Presien is looking lovely. Then you've got beating the Doncaster last time. But apart from that, I think he holds reasonable claims. And we have to remember also, this is essentially a conditions race now because the handicap is so compressed. So really, it's who is the best horse out of these, or who has the best ability out of these, like raw ability. And Foxtail Hill will be a decent price on the night before. So I'll just say probably Remainder Sinan and Lake each way.
Excellent. Graham Woods, do you have an opinion here?
Not a strong one, Mick, but I can pass on word to you that Bundoran is flying at home and is Tom George's best chance for winner at the Cheltenham Festival. He's very keen on his chances.
Excellent. Pretty short and sweet for you there. Andrew Humphrey, the handicap expert, supposedly Mr. I Love Handicaps.
Could not care what wins this race. When I was on the, I don't know if I mentioned, but I was on a preview panel on Friday, and
Brian Hughes.
Brian Hughes, he put up double W's as his charity bet. So that's pretty much all I've got to say about that, really. Foxtail Hills had the ears punted off it. Remainder Sinan was mentioned by Paul Nichols in a preview evening, so that halved in price, obviously. Just bet double W's at a ridiculous price and put the you know what? But I think ITV Racing missed the last two races, don't they, on the at the festival?
They do, yeah. They do, yeah.
They've made the right choice there. Then, haven't they, for this first day?
Andrew Humphrey, you can rely on you. Does anybody know where Heron Heights is going to go? If he turns up in this handicap, I think he's got a great chance. He's got course and distance course for him at Cheltenham. The only thing that would be putting me off is if he goes for one of the races on the Friday. He has entered twice, so either him or Brother Ted. I quite like Brother Ted as well.
He's short for the other race on the Tuesday, isn't he, Heron Heights?
I don't think he'll get in though. I don't think he'll get into that race. The other two that I like in here, it's pretty much, as you say, this is a compressed race. I think last year I had a bit. It just went terribly. I backed Killer Crow for weeks and weeks and weeks, and he missed it by one. I got all my money back because he battled out, but it was just there was actually phoned on the line to complain because I think there was about £4 between top and bottom. Why not just make it? What was the point of just making it what's the point of making it a handicap when it's going to be this compressed? Like, it's going to be a bit different this year depending on what comes out and what runs, but they're the ones that I would pick here. I'm just going to wrap it up. I have we have been sponsored by Alba Fightwear. I would like to thank Darren and Leslie for sponsoring us. They are going to give us charity bets to give away to have this week for the festival.
Thank you, Darren and Leslie.
They're going to be.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
Very nice of them.
They're going to be picked out for certain charities. Today's one will go to the Injured Jockeys Fund. Andrew, can you give me a horse for the Tuesday to put in a lucky 31?
Yeah. Sorry, Woodsy. I'm going to take Yanworth out of Woods' equation. 7-2.
Yanworth. Graham Woods.
Champers are nice for the National Hunt Chase.
And the National Hunt Chase. And William Kijani.
Oh, God's sake.
You say that as if you didn't know about it.
Is Christine Blakely still on the one show, Will?
Fuck yourself, Andrew. Single farm payment if he runs.
And the Ultima.
Can we do that? Yeah, in the Ultima. Can we have him?
Well, I can put him in, but I don't think he's going to get in. He's about 58th on the list.
Oh, he's not going to get in.
Put a horse in the Ultima already. You know we'll be putting in more than one horse from a race.
Sorry, come back to me at the end. I'll have one for your replacement, sorry.
Mr. Stopwatch, as JP Festival would call you. Do you have one?
I'll suggest Melon purely because I know you'll put it in if I don't.
God.
I couldn't put it in.
Don't fuel the fire.
I couldn't. I'd avoid it in. What I'll do is I'll put one at the Ultima that's going to get in and run. And I'll leave William a choice. The novice
Put
handicap
Imagine,
chase
Will,
at
look at the price.
or the mare's novice, or the mare's hurdle. I'm going to stick in Hollywell. For it.
Really hate you, Mick.
Why? How do you want Hollywell? I can pick another if you want.
That race. Right. Oh, God's sake. It has to be Vroom Vroom Mag, just because I don't want to let down the injured jockeys. So, could you imagine? You guys all have really good chances, and could you imagine if I went on some each way yak in the mare's hurdle?
I picked one at a decent price, Will. Jeez.
Jesus Christ, are you the racing blogger? Right. Don't you even. Okay, just don't. I'm going to wrap it up there. I'd like to thank everybody for their time tonight. William, you're going to be on tomorrow. We'll have Graham on tomorrow, Mr. Stopwatch, Andrew, I think Ben Homans is coming on, and possibly one more that I'm working on just now. I'd like to thank you all for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
Hey, guys.
Have you said anything interesting on that final furlong one yet, Woodsy?
and that's me. I'm going to end at that. Thanks very much for listening. We'll be back for all 4 days, and we also have a flat preview coming up. I know National Hunt fans are going to absolutely hate me saying that, but we will have a flat preview coming up.
Follow for the derby.
After the festival.
Get a load of that.